So the easiest and quickest way, initially we were kind of taking a mashed potato masher and trying to break up the eggshells in the coffee, but what I found is if I just put, just take all the eggs, get them broken up, put in there. And again, we do have chickens, but I also have a lot of people to feed, and we have a couple chickens that stopped producing this year. Going into winter, I'm not about to worry about trying to take care of some chicks and keep them warm. So we will take care of that next spring. But yeah, this is basically it. First, we're going to get all the eggshells out of here. I'll do that and be back. Hey guys, well today we're going to give you a little insight into kind of our program for our composting. Is one, we go through a lot of coffee, and so we keep all the coffee grounds. This just got emptied out last week, so we haven't filled it up that much. But this will either go out to the compost or into the tomato beds. Actually, sunflowers really like coffee grounds, but we were mixing a lot of eggshells, especially for the tomatoes, in there to get the calcium up, so we didn't have the same blight problem that we had a long time ago. Well, we've kind of come up with the easiest way to take care of all this, and I'll show you in just a second. Alright, once you get all your eggs put together, we're going to transfer this just into a sack. Once you got them divided into sacks, crush them with whatever you want. Rolling pin. I realize some of this may be kind of a, a no-duh for some of you guys, but it's just the easiest way for me to do it. Like I said, we go through a lot of eggs. It's a good source. You can crush them down as much as you want. Usually takes about 2 sacks just because of the volume. And then, once I start crushing them down, then you can just crush them down to like a fine powder. Obviously, I did buy some styrofoam egg cartons on sale the other day, and so those won't be able to go into the next thing. But one of the biggest issues I had and time-consuming problems I had was taking care of these cartons. And so even through my composting, even if I shredded them into pieces, I would still have these big chunks of basically egg carton that was in there. And I would spend a bunch of time trying to shred this into smaller pieces because, as you can see, I had quite a few. And it was just extremely time-consuming. So the way I got around that is we're simply going to load this full of hot water and soak it until all the natural fibers and the glues and the paper and everything just kind of fall apart. Alright, as exciting as this is, we're over to the utility sink, and if you want, you can break these up into a couple smaller pieces, but for the most part, just dunk them in there. I put it on warm. I don't know if it makes it go any quicker or not. This is going to take a while to soak in here, but it certainly takes all that time and hassle, and certainly makes it a whole lot easier. I can already kind of put my hand in here and immediately start pulling up, this crushed scraps. That's probably enough water. And just kind of work it around. It'll sit there and get soaked, and like you're seeing, it's already just turning into a pulp. And certainly the added moisture around here in the high desert does not hurt in the compost. And we're just going to let that soak. And while that's soaking, I'll take you outside and show you what we do with the styrofoam. Alright, it's not too pretty out here. We got a bunch of metal recycling that'll be going to the recycle yard. But I have this old bucket of very old gas. It's about 10-year-old gas. And this has been enough to dissolve maybe around 12, 15, maybe even 20 sort of boxes of packing stuff. I'm hoping, this is the first time I've actually done it with the egg stuff. I'm hoping it's the same styrofoam material. Yeah, getting a reaction off of it. And so we're just going to put both these down there. And eventually this gasoline, will stop absorbing the styrofoam. But, I've put, I don't know how many, like I said, boxes of packing styrofoam that could easily go to the recyclable, I understand. But this is really old gas, and you know, the amount of space that is wasting in your landfill, whether they actually recycle it or not. You know, styrofoam can't really do much with it. They usually separate it out and probably melt it down with heat or something else. I don't really know. It's just a guess, but this is a way for me to not have to store all that styrofoam. You just break up a bunch of chunks and you toss it in there, you put the lid back on, and it'll self-dissolve. And like I said, eventually this will become a homemade napalm of sorts, a very sticky, you know, flammable substance that we can always use for other things down the road. But that's what I do. Right or wrong, I don't know. Leave a comment of all you speculators out there that know maybe more than I do. But alright, we're about 20 minutes into the process, and you know, it's not quite mush, but it certainly does not take any effort at all to kind of pull this stuff apart. Just going to kind of swish it around. I do have a cement mixer that I could probably put on my drill. I have a feeling it would probably just make more of a mess than anything else. Maybe I'll give it a shot if we go outside. I probably won't try it inside, but yeah, to me this is, you know, already in the process of breaking down, and it certainly helps put it in the compost in this condition with the added moisture, without throwing it in there and it acting like a sponge and soaking up a lot of the moisture out of my compost that I want in there. So, you know, we're going into winter, so the compost isn't really at a state where it's creating any heat necessarily, but I'll take you down there and we'll give it a shot. I'll give you an idea of the cement mixer on the end of the drill. Kind of make some soup out of it. Like I said, I recommend doing it outside. So there's still some big pieces in there. Some of it's breaking down. Maybe if I let it sit a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and throw the rest of the eggshells and coffee mix in there. We'll just make a big soup today. Now this is not unlike a couple people on YouTube. I know Hawk LMP. He has a, you know, next to free blender he picked up at Goodwill or something, and he'll take a lot of his scraps and throw in the blender. Most of our food scraps all goes to the livestock, to the pig or the chickens, so we don't actually have as much food products as I would like to put in our compost, because it all just gets utilized back into protein from the chickens and stuff. So the most of our stuff is yard debris, leaves. It's a lot of coffee grounds and this paper product. You know, so we'll give this a stir, and I actually might take this down here with us and see if we can stir up the compost. Here's our compost. We have gotten a ton of rain. This is our sort of loose compost pile. Yard trimmings. It's got charcoal from the fireplace. That's also one reason I didn't put holes in the top. It does keep some of that moisture out of there. As you can see, it's a nice compost color. It's actually looking pretty good. Let's see if we can feed. Sometimes I will attempt to roll this. Do some banana peels. Breaking down. We'll also put a lot of the cedar chips from the chickens and stuff in here, and that soaks up a lot of moisture. But as you can see, it's actually doing really good. We do have some worms in here, so that's why the rolling is better than the spinning, chewing up method. But I'm going to dump this in here, and then we'll go from there. There you go. Lovely compost. Switch over to high. Clean up a bit. We're good to go. Thanks for watching.